Welcome to another Panthers Pretend Draft. I'm your host, Demetri. This is all part of This Team is Killing Us, or Carolina Panthers podcast here on the OG Triangle Media Network. If you have not already done so, I do need you to go right now on YouTube. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do that. Throw a like on the video and leave a comment as well. I've been getting everything from deep dissections of my mock draft process to people just commenting the word comment so that it is in there. I appreciate all of you taking the time to watch, and certainly everybody that has subscribed. Let's go ahead and dive into today's mock draft. Panthers are starting out at number 33 as always. Look, I do want to reiterate, I don't think that it is any sign of failure or anything like that we keep ending up with the same guys over and over again, some collection of the same guys, right? That is just sort of the realities of where it seems like the board is going to be at number 33. All of the guys on our leap list are gone, so now we will just hold tight until our pick. And I would... Let's see. We'll pass on the trade. And here is what I am thinking. Jackson Powers Johnson is there, but I can count on Zach Frazier to be there at 39. I can count on Van Pran Granger to be there at 65. Let's grab Jordan Morgan, who is a very talented offensive tackle out of Arizona, at 33. And at 39, let's see if the Ravens will sweeten this a little bit, because I would be open to this trade, but not something that nets off or that doesn't pay off until next season. Not going to take that one. We'll try one more time here with 93 if we don't have to give up 101. Okay, nothing there. So let's go ahead and add. My gut says add Zach Frazier here. Obviously, after Leggett and McConkey, and Franklin too, but really Leggett and McConkey, I'm a little less in love with the receiver class. But let's go ahead and add Zach Frazier. And here's what we will do. We will watch where the receivers fall. And after number 50, we might make our way back into round number 2. Playing the waiting game here. Let's try and do this with Dallas at number 56. We will offer them 65. And next year's 4. Is that enough? No. All right. Let's try this year's 65. 56, 4. And let's use this year's. I think this is a 5th round pick, 141. Or is it 140? Yeah, let's try 142, and we'll kick in next year's 4th. All right, there you go. The way I look at this is it's all pretend, right? We don't have to, in this particular mock draft, we don't have to think about next year. We could just try and get the job done. And we get Xavier Leggett 3 picks again in round 2. And I feel really good about getting that future X wide receiver and solidifying the offensive line for the long term. Now, what it does is we hold tight until 101. But we got the same amount of guys we would have otherwise. So I don't feel like this is too much of a sacrifice. And at 142, look, this is a year where the draft is seen overall as pretty thin, that by the time you are getting to the 5th and 6th round, you are talking about guys that could very well end up as undrafted free agents in more strong years. So I am not going to worry too much about what we gave up, considering we are kind of exactly where we would be otherwise. And now here at 101, it seems like we do the smart thing and go with our old buddy Austin Booker. We have gotten our edge rusher here. If you've been watching these, you know I like Booker a lot. I don't think he is going to be a day one plug-in starter, but I do think there is a lot of upside there for the outside linebacker / defensive end out of Kansas. They used him in both roles. And now as we come up on 141, we have some options here about the way we can think about this, because we are going to have a number of tight end prospects we can pick from. we are going to have a few different running back prospects we can pick from. Or, you know what, with this being in the last week, let's take a look at what exactly New Orleans might do. No on that one. Would they, if we keep 240 in the offer, or let's see, yeah, would they come down? Would they give us 150 and 190? No. Okay. All right. So let's take this pick here because we can do a lot of different stuff. Tight end's a possibility. Running back is a possibility. But remember, I've talked about how much I like Anais Smith, who will be available near the back of the draft as these new return rules come into place. I would say the same thing about Jacob Cowing out of Arizona. I think he's one of those guys that is going to be a nice little gadget player in the passing game, but will really make his impact in the running game. A shifty receiver in the desert. And look, he and Jordan Morgan can be roommates in the first year and adapt to the NFL pace of things together. So let's take a look at where we stand as we get ready for our last pick all the way there in round 7. This has been a very offense heavy draft, but we have made time to go out, or go down rather, and get our edge rusher as well. Jordan Morgan is a new name to this process, and then a lot of familiars. Zach Frazier, Xavier Legette, and Austin Booker are all part of the team again in this mock draft. Remember to take the time to like, subscribe, and leave a comment so more Carolina Panthers fans find our content here on OG Triangle Media. As we come down towards 240, I think the thing to do here, and this is not how I started out thinking about today's draft, but I think the thing to do here is keep it in the offensive family. Really focus the draft on the future of the offense, because as much as the NFC South is still sort of up for grabs, I do think the reality is this is at least a 2-year project for Carolina to get back to being competitive. Remember, this team is going to have a lot of money to work with next season, so they can make a bigger splash. Then right now, let's fill some needs. Let's find some guys we can take flyers on and try and turn into something. And at number 240, gosh, I mean, do we get a second center? I don't think so. I think we go with Kamani Vidal. I mean, it's sort of a flyer because out of Troy, you know, the stats are always going to be taken with a grain of salt, but he was the leading rusher in the country last year. And the film shows he's a dude that will fight for yards. I don't think he's any better necessarily than Chuba Hubbard, but if they're going backfield by committee, he'd be a nice little addition. And let's take a look at this overall draft. We only made the one trade, and that was the one to move up to number 56, where we got our old friend Xavier Legette. You see what we gave up there with Dallas in order to make that happen. We will have another mock draft tomorrow. We only have, 2 more of these to go until it is actually draft day in the NFL. So come back. Thanks so much for watching. This team is killing us. Another Panthers Pretend Draft.